Hey kids, it's Western Fly here, hope you're well. And welcome back to the channel. And today it's time for another Biker Scran with Geoff and Dan. Okay folks, so welcome to beautiful Buckinghamshire here in the Chilterns in the summer. It's a pretty grungy day actually. It's 17.5 degrees and a bit wet under tire at the moment and grey as you can see, which is a bit of a shame given I'm recording this in July. Anyway, as I mentioned in the pre-intro, time for another Biker Scran with Geoff and Dan. Now if you're new to the channel and you haven't come across this occasional series, what is that all about then? Well basically, it's the occasional series on the channel where I nip off out to meet my biking chums Geoff and Dan, and then we go and explore a cafe somewhere. Typically it's a biking cafe, but not necessarily always the case. It could be somewhere else, as is the case today. So what is the plan for today? Well, quite simply, I'm meeting them up just north of Aylesbury at the bike dealership On Your Bike, and then we're going to ride up from there up to Turweston Airfield, where there's an excellent cafe I happen to know. Lots of people have asked or mentioned that we should go to Turweston to do a Biker Scran. It's just as popular, it seems, with bikers as it is with aviators. Personally, I've been there a few times, but only ever in the aeroplane. In fact, there's a video on the channel, I'll put a link in the corner, of me landing at Turweston. And the only way I've ever been to Turweston Airfield is by plane, and I have indeed used the cafe there. In fact, to call it a cafe is maybe underselling it slightly. It's a really nice place, as you will see. Anyway, so that's the plan for today. So settle back. It's what is it, 10 to 11 at the moment. I'm due to be meeting the chaps at On Your Bike at 11:30, so hopefully I'll be on time. Eagle-eyed ones amongst you will have noticed I'm out on the GS, a bike I've described as my FOTA, F-O-T-A, my favourite of all time. And that is because if I were to only have one bike, then it would be this, because it's just a brilliant all-rounder. It's just great for ride outs on an evening, Sunday afternoon, going touring, going to work, carrying stuff, even going off-road if that's your bag. It'll do everything. So this is the perfect all-rounder motorcycle as far as I'm concerned, even though it's getting a bit long in the tooth now. I've recently done a little bit of sprucing up work on this. There are other videos out and possibly coming out still on that, so do go and check those out if you want to. But yeah, this bike, over 10 years old now, and I'm still absolutely loving it. Right, not the most interesting ride up to On Your Bike, so say cheerio for now. Speak to you in a minute. So wind on 15 minutes or so, and welcome to the centre of Aylesbury, folks. Little market town in Buckinghamshire, not really known for anything in particular. Well, there are a couple of things. One is its theatre, which is just up here on the right. There we go, it's that place there with a wooden sort of cladding. Interesting looking building, it's lovely inside. And then the next thing it's famous for is this hideous building in front of me, which was, and I don't know if it still is, but it was a council building. But it's a listed building because it's a particular type of concrete or something, 60s design, and they're not allowed to demolish it. It was once voted the ugliest building in the country. So that's the other thing that Aylesbury's famous for. At least it is in our house. Anyway, thought it was worth showing you that. Nothing against Aylesbury in particular, but yeah, I'm not sure I'd rush here either. Right, next stop, On Your Bike, which is a sort of destination dealership, if you like. It's one of those places that's sort of a bit in the middle of nowhere. It's just beyond Waddesdon. And there's some quite nice roads around there, so it's one of those places that it's good to ride to on a weekend, just to number one have a nice ride, and number two just go and have a look at new bikes. They're a Kawasaki and Ducati and Aprilia dealer, and a few others besides. I've known them for a while. In fact, I bought my first big bike there. I bought my Yamaha XJ6 Diversion there about 11 years ago now, I think. I don't think they're a Yamaha dealer anymore actually. And then I bought from them second hand my old Triumph Tiger 1050 Sport, which was a great bike. And then more recently I bought my Kawasaki Z900 RS from them as well. So So I've got a fair experience of their sales, and then the other thing is their servicing department. So of course they're looking after my Kawasaki now, but previous to that they looked after my Ducati 899. And I've said before about dealers, haven't I, about how they vary. And in the case of On Your Bike, I have to say the service I've had from them has been absolutely excellent always. The service department in particular is great there. Nothing against the sales guys either. Tony, the guy that sold me the Kawasaki, really nice fella. If you fancy a Kawasaki and you live local, then do go and say hello to Tony, tell him I sent you. But yeah, the service department is also excellent there. Although a little bit later I'll tell you another story about them as to why maybe I'm not entirely enthusiastic about them, but that's a story for a bit later in the video. Okay folks, just about to enter the town or village of Waddesdon, and I know Waddesdon because of a place called Waddesdon Manor. Again, it's somewhere that I've flown over quite often. I think I might have shown it on videos before. It's a very fancy looking manor house in the style of a sort of French chateau. It's owned by the Rothschilds, I think, and you can go and visit it. It's very nice. It's just up here on the left, I think. Or have I just passed the gate? Can't remember. Anyway, this is the town or village, which I assume once was part of the estate. There are some buildings up here that we'll pass in a second that look very old and are very much in keeping with that sort of caper. And also it's pretty close to On Your Bike, so not far to go now. It's what's the time? 11:20. 10 minutes to go, so the time is perfect. I'm glad to say temperature's picked up a bit. It's now 19.5 degrees and a little bit drier on the roads, so that's good news. Alright, so these are some of these older buildings. Look here, look absolutely amazing. Look at this place here, fantastic. Little coffee shop there, which I've never been to, worth a look. And here's the entrance to Waddesdon Manor. Look, if you ever fancy go, this little sign here that says GL base, look, the fluorescent sign. If you ever see those around, that means that there's some filming going on. And the GL probably stands for the production. I don't know what GL is, but base just means that's where the production setup is based. I often look for those. There's a lot of filming that goes on around here. So anyway, there we go. That's Waddesdon. Not far now. What's the betting Geoff will be here first? Pretty high, I'd say, because he normally is. Alright folks, I've arrived at On Your Bike, and can I see any of my compatriots? Yeah, oh blimey, look, they're both here already. Royal Enfield and a Triumph that looks familiar. Let's park up, go and find the chaps. Alright, so it's a bit noisy here by the roadside, but this is On Your Bike. I don't know where the chaps are. I'll go and have a little look in. Check out these fancy second-hand Ducatis. Very nice. Aha! I can see where they're hiding. Good day, gentlemen. How are we? Good day. Hey, hey.
Your ears must have done his hair.
So this is Tony, folks. He's the guy that sold me my Kawasaki.
How you doing?
Jeffrey, of course, needs no introduction. Nice to see you, sir.
Sold me my Kawasaki
Dan,
as well.
Good morning,
the third time in about 3 weeks. How you doing?
Yes.
Excellent.
You've not brought your wife with you today?
No.
I know.
I thought it was going to be
Never seen
Biker
the-
Scran with Geoff, Dan and Carol.
Fantastic. Next time, maybe.
Yeah.
There's the thought. So we were just having a chat about cafes and stuff. It turns out Tony's a bit of a local, well, almanac, polymath. What's the word I'm looking for, Dan? You'll know.
Aficionado.
What a I'm going to have to look that one up. How do I spell that? That's a Google one. Anyway, he's a aficionado on local eating joints. So where's the best place to go around here then, Tony?
Posh coffee,
Yep.
the Forge evenly.
And a good view, you reckon?
Very good view of the green, idyllic English view.
Sounds perfect. Maybe next time. Before we disappear, I must just show you a couple of these Kawasaki's in here. This, as I say, is where I bought my Z900. Look, this is this year's colour, one of them. This has got this lovely metallic green flake. You can see that in the light. Absolutely love that one. And then over here, there's a grey one that I've never seen before. Is this a new colour, Tony, the grey?
This year's 2024 colours, yes.
Right, so that is a 2024 colour apparently. Not sure I like it as much as the green and yellow, but nice nonetheless. Cool. Thanks, Tony. See you soon.
Pleasure. Have fun, guys.
Right, gents, should we go and eat?
Let's go and eat.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. See you, Tony. Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.
So, Geoff, being the observant type he has seen here a, well, what Carol calls a Moto Gutless. It's a Stelvio, unfortunately. I didn't call it that was entirely Carol. But check out the number plate on here. DNF.
Yeah, personal plate, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. What do they know that we don't? Alrighty, let's get the show on the road. Okay, so Geoff is going to lead us, as he loosely has a route. Right, so there we go. That's On Your Bike, sort of a destination dealer, as I say, just north of Aylesbury. As I mentioned, I've had great experiences there, both with sales and service, which is all you need, really, isn't it, with bikes? But not so much from a YouTubing point of view. I got in contact with the dealer principal there a while back and asked if it would be possible to do some reviews of their second-hand bikes and indeed some of their demo bikes and so on. And he basically said, I don't see the value in YouTube, so much for that. So it was a no, which I thought was just absolutely a very strange attitude, really, given it wouldn't have cost him a bean, and he would have got a load of publicity. Instead, he's got me saying what a strange attitude they have to publicity. Anyway, there we go. Right, so the good news is the sky's brightened up a little. We've got some blueness now, which is nice. Onwards now to Turweston Airfield, where hopefully not only are we going to have a spot of lunch, but we're going to meet up with my mate Chris, who runs the airfield there. He's the airfield manager. He also mans the radio at Turweston. He's also a Missenden Flyer viewer, and hence also a biker, of course. So I did give him a quick call yesterday to check that he was on duty today, and he is. And he said he'd show us around the control tower. So last time on Biker Scran, we had a look in a signal box, didn't we? Thanks to Dan's contacts. This time we'll have a look at a control tower, which isn't quite as interesting from a mechanical linkages point of view, but might be of interest to you as to what goes on in such a thing. Anyway, that's coming a bit later. I think Turweston's probably about a 30-minute ride from here, so now it's a bit warmer and drier. Should be nice. Great to be out with the chaps again. Well, there's a little Italian restaurant here, look, Canaletto. I have been in here with my mate Keith, who owns the aeroplane that I fly. He doesn't live too far away from here, and he said that was a good restaurant to try, so he went up there for a meal last year, I think it was. And number one, it was a lovely ride from our house to there on the back roads, and it was indeed an excellent restaurant. A little bit expensive, but nonetheless very nice if you're a fan of Italian, which I am. Blimey, Geoff's going for it today again. Oh, it's great to be out on the GS. I don't want to talk anything up, but she's running very sweet at the moment. What a great bike. So we've turned off that main road and we're coming to this village, which is called Grendon Underwood. Lovely church there. Not very pleasant. Well, there's a field on my right that I notice is already baled up. We're recording this late July, and we've had so much rain this year. I'm amazed that crops are actually ready to be harvested. I can't imagine there's going to be a great harvest this year. Not that I know anything about such things, but as an avid viewer of Clarkson's farm, I realise how important it is to get the moisture content right of crops before they're harvested. It's going to be tricky this year, I think. This isn't actually a million miles away from where I live. This is a part of Buckinghamshire that I don't know at all well. Kind of On Your Bike, the dealership there was the sort of limit to my extent of my knowledge of the county north. Pathetic though that is. But I really must explore up here more. I mean, this road surface is shocking here, it has to be said. It's bumpy and full of potholes, but aren't they everywhere? But isn't it lovely around here? Oh, a rare bit of smooth road. How pleasant. Well, I must say, even though we've been diverted and we're stuck behind this car, as is so often the case here in the southeast, it's been an absolutely lovely ride out here. Weather's improved all the time, 22 degrees now, even more blue sky. What more do you need, eh? Prospect of a nice lunch ahead, nice bike ride, couple of pals, life is good. Another splendid little village. This is called Tingewick. Gotta love an English name of a village, haven't you? Aha! Ahead of me, something I recognise. That's the lead up to Stowe Landscape Gardens. In fact, as that brown sign shows. Which, on a day when there's not a white van and a tractor on it, you can absolutely hair down. Stowe is an amazing place. It's, I think actually it's a very posh private school, isn't it? And of course there is a corner on the Silverstone circuit named after it. We're not very far from Silverstone here, and in fact Turweston Aerodrome, where we're going, is used very much when the British Grand Prix is on as kind of a landing point for helicopters and so on. People coming into the British Grand Prix, held at Silverstone obviously. Recently actually, I think it was 2 weekends ago at the time of recording. So I sense that we're getting pretty close to the aerodrome now, and the reason I sense that is because I've seen a couple of light aircraft at low level flying over, so we must be pretty close. But again, having never approached it by land as it were before, and having only ever flown in, I've no idea what the entrance looks like. Aha! Here we are, Turweston Aerodrome. We're about to find out. How exciting. It's turned into quite a nice day for flying, so I expect there'll be a fair amount of activity. So if we do get to have a look in the control tower, Chris might be busy, so might not be able to disturb him too much. We shall find out. I don't know, but I assume Turweston is an ex-World War II aerodrome. Oh, there we go. This is more how I remember it. This is the approach to the runway that I've flown on many occasions. I'll refer you back to that video I mentioned earlier on the channel if you want to see me actually landing on that runway. It's runway 27, which means it's oriented in 270 degrees or westerly. And there are a lot of those in this country because of course our prevailing wind is westerly. I assume we're riding on what was a perimeter road, looking at this concrete and tarmac that we're on, which is in a pretty poor state. It looks typical World War II perimeter track or taxiway. Windsock straight out to the left pretty much, so a stiff crosswind today if you're landing there. Lots of light aircraft parked up. That building over there, the light brown one, don't know if you can see it on the camera, it's such a wide angle lens. That's both the control tower and the restaurant, and where we're heading. There's all sorts of businesses here, including a well-known paint shop that a lot of people, when they want their airplanes resprayed, come here and get it done. We used to have a share in an airplane which we got repainted here. In fact, Jeffrey was a co-shareholder in that same airplane. I'll see if I can find a picture of me flying that plane just after it had the repaint. It looked absolutely splendid. Loved that aeroplane. Yeah, here it was. It was Mick Allen and Son. He was who did the respray on that. Oh, and here are a couple of TB10s, which are the same sort of aircraft as I was talking about. Right, this looks like the place. It's a picture when we get off the bikes. So, we've made it to Turweston. Lovely little ride through there, Geoff. Well done on the nav. Excellent. And we had a bit of a diversion thrown in for good measure, didn't we?
Yes, down a farm track.
And some muddy puddles for Dan, which has kept your bike in good order.
Like that road down at Bradford on Avon, Dan.
I think Geoff's on commission from the bike cleaning products company.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, muck off if you're listening.
Oh look, there's some bikes parked there.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's the
In the bike
motorcycle
park.
parking.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yes.
Normally, we must say that airfields normally have fairly basic cafes.
Yes.
This isn't necessarily one that's reflective of all of them.
Flying and motorcycling are pretty much closely aligned.
Yes, indeed. Everybody that does it are poor in the end.
Yes, exactly.
Right, we're heading up to the control tower to start with, though. and hopefully our friend Chris is up there and will show us the sights. Funny enough, there's always a good view from control towers, isn't there, Geoff?
Yes, funnily enough, yeah.
This is Chris, folks, and I think you might have made my ABR video. In fact, I see you've got the.
I possibly did actually. Yes, me and my family did appear on the on your little clip.
Excellent.
It was very nice.
This is Geoff and Dan. Do you know Geoff and Dan?
Well, actually, I bumped into you at Luggershall a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
After we got to Castleton.
That's a funny old game, isn't it?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Oh, did you do Castleton?
I didn't do first year. I haven't done casting for ages, but just couldn't get around to it. But went to Luggershall, which you should do next.
I will do that next year. I'll let Chris do his duty.
Sorry, last one again. Golf November, Roger 63320 degrees and 5 knots.
So thanks for allowing us up here, Chris.
This is what you're welcome.
I don't want to disturb you too much.
It's not that busy, so you're okay.
It's a lovely day, though, isn't it?
It is. It's not. Well, it was a poor start. Lots of rain this morning, but it's cleared through.
Yeah,
so
it's turned out
rest of the
nice.
afternoon should be fine.
So what have we got here then? Because I've never, well, I've been up here once or twice, but I've never
Okay,
sort of
so
nosed about. So what's going on?
We have 2 weather stations on the airfield. One's over there, and there's one on the roof of the tower. So we've got 2 separate weather stations, giving us the current airfield weather.
Right.
So it's showing the surface winds and pressures and temperatures and all that sort of stuff, which
we need to know. Yep.
We need to know. I have a movements recording device here, so there's all the movements that go on throughout the day and all that sort of stuff.
So is this the equivalent of what used to be those little strips that you used to see in towers?
Sort of, yeah.
Right, I see.
It's gone digital, so and
also charging as well, presumably.
Yeah, it does all that sort of stuff. It's basically taken from a CAA logbook, which we used to have to fill in everyone by hand.
Got you.
Roger. But so nowadays it's all done digitally, which is much easier. So lots of typing. And then over here we have a situational awareness screen, which is using ADS-B and various other outlets of aircraft, sort of giving permission.
So ADS-B is there's what the
It's
a
like
transponder,
a
isn't
transponder,
it?
yeah.
So it'll tell you the reg of the aircraft,
Reg,
height and all that sort of thing.
stuff and type. So we have an idea of where everyone is in the sky.
Clever, providing you're ADS-B equipped, of course, which not everybody is.
This also shows Mode S transponders.
Okay. Yeah.
And pilot aware, Sky Echo. So most of the stuff, the only thing you don't see is A and B transponder.
Gotcha.
So
Got you.
Everything else is basically there. So it makes my job a lot easier.
And it's
I haven't got to store all that information in my head so much.
Yeah, good stuff. Because there's a lot going on up here, isn't there, on a busy day, I would imagine.
Yeah, as you can imagine, British Grand Prix.
Yep.
This is one very, very busy piece of sky. 004, Roger. Yeah, so I mean, we ended up with, I think, 58 helicopters parked on the airfield.
Yeah.
You are good to cross. So lots of helicopters parked here. After they drop their passengers in at circuit, they then come back out and park here.
Please, or would you prefer to use the tarmac?
You're welcome to use the grass.
We will use the grass,
So, White Waltham-based aeroplane.
Yeah, fantastic. God, it's all go up here, isn't it? I don't want to disturb you, but I was saying to Geoff, what an amazing view you get from a control tower. It's funny, that, isn't it?
It's not bad. I can't grumble at my office view.
It's not bad at all, is it?
You have to clean the windows,
I
Chris.
do actually, yeah. The furthest point we can see, you may just be able to see it. If you look out that window, you can see Stoke-on-Church Mast.
Can you really?
So that's 43 kilometres.
There's no way we see it with a wide-angle lens, but we might be able to see it with our eyeballs.
Yeah, I can see
Have a
it,
look.
Well, I can see.
Oh yeah, I can see it on the horizon there. Stoke-on-Church Mast is an excellent waypoint when you're flying from all over the place, but 43 miles away apparently. And even Dan can clearly see it. Can you clearly see it, Dan? Yeah, it looks like you can. Lovely spot here, look at this. So this is the home of the Light Aircraft Association, which regulates, funnily enough, all the non-regulated aircraft, if that makes sense. But yeah, what a great place.
And also behind us, I'll come back to you in 2 seconds. You'll edit that bit out. Golf India Zulu Romeo Victor joining for 27 right, QFE's 1004.
Join for 27 right, QFE 1004, Golf Romeo Victor.
In the hangar behind us, it's also the home of the America's Cup yacht. So the America's Cup yacht was built here.
Right, wow, that's an unusual.
The reason being that it's a tie-up with Ineos.
Right.
Ineos was just Jim Ratcliffe.
Yeah.
he owns a third of Mercedes F1 as well.
Right.
So they use the engineering staff from the F1 cars to help build the boat.
Oh, interesting.
So aerodynamics and
well,
dynamics all
but
very, very
yeah, I
similar.
get that, but where we're located is hilarious because you couldn't be much further from the sea, could you?
No,
Yeah.
obviously
Brilliant.
Mercedes is in Brackley.
Of course,
So
yeah. This is the heart of Formula One land, isn't it? Really?
Certainly is.
Yeah.
It's,
Even at the airfield.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Absolutely.
So is the current runway, is that in the same orientation as one of the World War II ones?
Yeah,
or is that...
all the runways you see are the same as their original layout. So,
Yep.
yeah, that's exactly how
Cool.
as it was.
Like you say.
Obviously slightly longer, but
Not a bad office, is it?
it isn't. No, I've been here for 30 years, so I've seen the place evolve from the.
You
grass
can't
strip.
be. You must have been here when you were 7 then.
No, I wish. I wish.
So we've made it into this splendid flight deck cafe, I think it's called, isn't it? Yes. And we're just checking out the menu, and Geoff has spotted some interesting things about it.
Yes, look, breakfast served until 11 a.m.
But if you're too late for that,
Main meal served until 3 p.m. Flight deck breakfast.
it gets weirder, doesn't it? Excellent. But you can't complain. At least we can get breakfast. So we think it's Dan's turn to put his hand in the pocket, and nothing in aviation is cheap, is it?
No.
Including the cafe here. So
Especially the
we've gone for.
cafes.
Was it the most expensive thing on the list you could find?
No, not quite.
Was it
quite.
not?
I wouldn't tell
Missed
you
a trick
about
there.
that. Yeah, I know.
Oh, I feel bad now.
I know people who do that. but
Really? Oh,
not me.
Look, there's little clouds in the sky. So, food has arrived, at least for 2 of us. Unfortunately, your nachos are out of stock, weren't they?
Yes,
So you've had to
back order.
compromise.
On back order.
So what have you compromised?
Well, I'm apparently having chili nachos, but with chips instead of chili, instead of nachos.
Can't-
So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen here.
We'll see. Can't be bad, though, can it? But, Dan, you've actually got a chip mountain.
I've got a chip mountain, a chip garnish.
Oh, fantastic.
They put the salads in the wrap and the chips are on the side. So it's all looking good.
I thought that was salad in a face flannel.
I think Dan's looks more healthy than mine, actually. I went for the club sandwich, which does look good. So sorry, Geoff, but looks like you're going hungry, mate.
Jeff's gone for the diet option.
Exactly. We'll have a look at his when it turns up. In the meantime, we're getting noshing. Can you say that?
I don't know.
I don't think you can. Anyway, forget that. And as if by magic, Geoff's nachos without nachos has turned up.
With chips instead.
There you go.
Excellent. Thank you.
So look at that. So it's like cheesy chips with mincy chili.
Mincy chili, jalapeno, sour creamy stuff.
Oh, look. Oh, we're doing a selfie of me videoing. Might have to get that from you. Right, so bon appetit, chaps. We'll eat in silence in the usual manner, and we shall score it in the usual way at the end. Speak to you in a mo.
Look, you've got a
Good.
yum yum. Yeah, very nice.
Vegeta.
Yeah, beautiful. Lovely balance of salad and spicy chicken, crispy chips.
What more can you want? It seems like it's a bit of a hit all round. We'll wait for the pricing at the end, of course. Right, so we've had our lunch, and looks like Dan has bumped into Chris again. He's showing him his bikes. Okay, so Chris has got this lovely CBR 600 here. Tell us about this, Chris.
Okay, so this was when I came back to motorcycling a few years ago. This was my first bike,
Yep.
and I'd always, I'd had a CBR 900 before, I had a Fireblade, and thought, well, I'll come back with a 600, and fell in love with this one when I found it 'cause it's in such good condition.
Lovely,
It's only
isn't
got
it?
14,000 miles on a 98 F3 CBR 600, so not got a lot.
It's incredible that that's 1998. So how old's that now? 26 years.
26 years
and it
old.
still looks like a modern bike, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's a lovely looking thing.
Just look at the forks.
Yeah.
They look like they're factory new.
It's a
Whereas
lovely
bikes
looking
of
thing,
this
isn't it?
era, they used to flake and go terribly
Yeah,
bad. But
lovely.
no, it's lovely.
And you get to razz it up and down the runway occasionally?
Well, occasionally it has to be done just to make sure that it still runs correct.
Excellent,
Yes.
excellent.
And obviously there's no speed restrictions on my runway, so
Yeah,
I
how good is that?
I can actually test it to its
Fantastic.
what it's allowed to do.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I love it.
Right, should we look at some aeroplanes then?
Go look at it.
Can't help myself but film this aeroplane here because me and Geoff used to have a share in one of these. This is called a TB10. Here we are.
Not got the front wheel there.
No, it's missing a front wheel spat, which made the whole thing look so much better.
It did. Same interior.
Yeah. Oh no, they've had it upgraded inside. Look, it's got fancy seats.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a Cavendish one. Yeah, tell you what, that's where ours went, isn't it? Yeah, there's a story here which we won't go into. Look at this. If I'm not mistaken, this is a Yak 18T, isn't it? Which is an amazing aeroplane. It's fully aerobatic, 4-place. You can carry people and baggage and go upside down. And it has a Vedenev radial engine. Is that right, Chris? Do you know about this?
I'm not sure which engine is in this one.
I've got a feeling it is, and it's pneumatic as well, isn't it? Pneumatic start, which is a bit of a problem apparently.
This displays it quite regularly as well. This machine, it displays it Duxford quite regularly.
Really, it's a lovely aeroplane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that beauty. Nice bit of nose art. They are, in fact, were they Ukrainian? They're not Russian, are they? I think they're Ukrainian. I've got a feeling.
Yeah,
Or they might be designed in Russia but were built in Ukraine, something like that. I don't know what the situation now is.
Personal Plane Services, which was a company which was based at Wickham Airfield for many, many years.
Yep.
They used to build lots of aircraft for the film industry.
Yeah, they had a little museum there, didn't they?
They did, yeah. Well,
yeah.
they've now moved out of there. They've been here for the last probably 7 or 8 years.
Oh, okay, yep.
So this is a lot of the aircraft that were in film. So
Okay,
so
from these
Magnificent
look
Men in their Flying Machines,
brilliant,
to the Blue Max, all that sort of stuff.
Fabulous.
That's what these are from. Apart from the one at the right in the corner, which
is that a Sopwith Camel or something?
It's a Scout, and it is a genuine World War I aeroplane.
Wow. And it still flies? Wow.
It's just been put back into airworthy condition at the moment.
Look at this. I love the way the cowling's been, whatever they've done with that to make that effect. I'll call it patina, but it's cool.
So whenever it's Poppy Day, we always come around and stand by this aeroplane because it feels very poignant.
Yeah, I bet.
You know.
And is that a rotary engine as opposed to a radial?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole thing spins.
The whole
yeah.
engine spins.
Yeah. So in this case, goodness knows what it does for the oil situation, where it's total loss. I assume it just flies out.
And it runs Castrol, I believe.
Wow. That's a proper engine, isn't it?
And it would run flat out all the time and has an interrupter switch on your stick.
Right.
So when you're coming into land, you just dab the switch
to kill the ignition a bit.
To kill the ignition.
Right. Wow. Crikey.
So this is.
It's like a modern day Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
I tell you what. Don't tell.
Alan Millyard, he would love that. He'd have his axle out in no time, wouldn't he? So what age would this be? 1914?
14.
Yeah. Wow.
So this is White Wolf and Base Stomp.
Ah, nice.
Which is up here for maintenance.
Right. So what's the difference between a Stomp and a, you know what I'm going to say, Tiger Moth?
Well,
a different manufacturer. So de Havilland versus, it's a French manufacturer, right. Hence.
But you've got two different variants here. You've got one here with a proper engine in it.
Yep.
That one's got a Lycoming engine in it. So.
Oh, hence the strange cowling. Yeah. So what? It's not a Gypsy Major in there, is it? Which was in the Tiger Moth? Because it's that sort of shape, isn't it?
I'm not sure what engine is in this.
Well, it's tailplane.
As if we're going to immediately know by looking at this. Oh yes, there it is. Yes.
It's a Gypsy. It is a Gypsy.
Cool. Lucky guess on my part.
Yeah.
It's just got the front shape of a Gypsy-powered machine, isn't it? Cool.
So the one behind, that is a Gypsy.
So what is that then?
This predates the Tiger.
So what is that? Oh, that's a Gypsy Moth. Right, okay. Look at that exhaust.
The engine's the other way around as well.
Is it upside down,
Sometimes
effectively?
Upside down.
Yeah, look at that exhaust pipe.
It's lovely. I prefer flying these to Tigers. I've flown both.
Yeah.
But I much prefer flying the Gypsy.
Really? Why? What's...
It just, I find
more
it
occasion?
More, it just handled better.
Right, nice.
But, I mean, look at the technology.
Yeah, is that your airspeed indicator?
Your airspeed indicator.
Just the wind blows on that.
It's just a big spring.
Look at that.
But it works, doesn't it?
Out of calibration now.
Ain't gonna fail.
Yeah, I like. It's like the fuel gauges. I love those as well.
How technology back then, being able to fold your wings up, very very simple as well.
Yeah.
Just a couple of pins you pull, wings are folded.
I'll bet you'd check those properly on the walk around, don't you?
Well, all it is you can see. Look, you can see you have a pin.
That's a bit of leather. It's a bit of leather that holds the wing on.
There's the pins. Here, so you push the pins in, and then the leather goes over to stop the pin coming out.
Crikey, would that get past these days? Yeah, well, I suppose it must do, because it'd still be on a permit, wouldn't it?
They're still flying. There's plenty of these still flying across the world. And
incredible. And at the top there's a fuel tank, presumably, gravity fed.
Yeah, gravity fed fuel tank. Yeah. What you got to watch on these is on the sunny days when you're flying around with your hands out.
Burn your arm on that.
Your arm on the exhaust.
I bet. Right, so we've had a nice little look around the hangars after our lunch, so it's given us time to let it digest, that's the word. So, marking time then. Who went first last? I can't remember. Let's start with you, Dan. Because you paid for it.
Yes.
So, what do you reckon?
Do you know what? Actually, it's the surroundings. It's a really nice surroundings, nice staff, great ambience, all really good. The food, perfectly good. The chips were nice.
Yep.
It's always a stumbling block for some places.
Yep.
It's not cheap, but actually
It's an Airfield. It's an Airfield, Dan.
But it's not eye-wateringly expensive.
Right.
I'd say I'm going to go to my default 8 out of 10.
Wow, that's pretty good. What about service though? I thought it was a bit slow serving.
Yeah, it wasn't super speedy, but it wasn't a sort of 10-hour wait or.
True. And to be fair, it's so nice up there. It's such a lovely building, and you got a nice view.
Yeah.
Didn't really matter, did it? Except you're an hour late for your next meeting. But anyway, we'll moving on quickly for that reason.
Apologies to Big Ben, eh?
Yeah. Jeffrey, how did you find it?
Yeah, very much the same. I mean, it's an airfield, so you're going to pay a little bit more than you normally do. But the food quality was good, notwithstanding the fact that they got nachos and chili on the menu, but didn't have any nachos.
Yes. Yeah.
But to put it over on the chips, well, it was different, but it was okay. Yeah. So I'm with Dan. I think 8.
Oh, this is. I don't know if this has ever happened before, because I was thinking 8 as well. It was really nice. Nothing to dislike of it. Nothing that absolutely. I mean, as you say, the ambience and the actual place is lovely, so that stands out. And of course, we got a bit of a guided tour, which helped. But I think if you're just a general punter turning up on your bike, you'd have a nice time coming here, wouldn't you? I think it'd be absolutely fine. And
100%,
you can sit and watch airplanes, great. So I think it's a thumbs up for this Biker Scran.
And a VMAX has just gone past.
I saw and heard it.
That.
Yeah,
It's a later model VMAX as well.
Oh God,
The
they're
one
off
with
on
ridiculously expensive panniers, according to our friend, who'd never let on.
On that basis, look forward to speaking to you again soon for the next Biker Scran, which, well, we won't say where we're going because we don't yet know, but we've still got that one over near Bristol.
That's a good enough
Yeah,
reason.
that is good reason, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, well, lovely to see you both again, chaps.
Yes.
See you on the next one.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Right.
Right, so the chaps have departed. Another Biker Scran is almost done. Thank you to Chris here at Turweston for showing us around both the control tower and the hangars. Fascinating for me and Geoff in particular, being aviation anoraks. Hope you found it of some interest too. This here is the new Cirrus, by the way, £1 million if you want one of those. It's about the most advanced light aircraft that you can buy today. There aren't that many actually that you can buy today, new. That's certainly the one that everybody wants if you want to do some serious touring. And I've got this weird, bizarre departure from Turweston that I've never done before. Here's a 03 hold. I'm normally on that side. Yeah, Chris was saying, I think I didn't have the camera on when we were talking about what the field used to be, and it was indeed a World War II airfield, originally a satellite to Silverstone and then became a base in its own right. And it was Wellingtons that were flown out of here, Wellington bombers. So fascinating from a historical viewpoint as well. So yeah, thanks again to Chris and the guys at Turweston. Thanks of course to Geoff and Dan, particularly Dan for paying for the meal. And I hope you enjoyed that little look at Turweston and the ride up here. Thoroughly recommend it if you want a little ride out. The cafe is very nice. Definitely one to add to your list. Alright, that's it for now. Until next time, this has been the Mr. Fly. Cheerio.